Hey you guys, so I woke up this morning, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, and the strangest thing was on my mind. I wanted to talk about Antarctica and why it is important to understand what's going on with Antarctica and also what's going on around the world. So you see, let's go way back. Antarctica was at one point a tropical paradise. It was not the frozen ice cap that you remember. Dinosaurs were there, creatures were there, all types of creatures that you think like from mythology existed there. However, it was frozen, and scientists have said that it had to have been frozen almost instantaneously because the animals that they found there still were eating food, were digesting food when they were frozen instantly. So that means that God must have frozen that area off because he wanted to protect. He had to been, well, first things first, he protects our best interests. And you got to understand what is there. Giant civilizations were there. The most worst ones lived in Antarctica. Mermaids, the worst of the mermaid breed, whatever they are. And also he banished fallen angels there. A lot, most specifically the ones that made it with human women are there. And if you don't, you can look this up. Like, mankind is trying to unfreeze Antarctica. They are trying to bring back there are dinosaurs there. There are all types of creatures there. They're not going to tell you this. These elites are not going to tell you this. However, the elites go there all the time to talk with the fallen angels that are chained up underground there. They go there, they're trying to unchain them, but the thing is, these fallen angels are supernaturally chained. We can't break those chains. The only person who can break them is God. Okay? I mean, it may sound crazy to you guys, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it sounds crazy. There is no limit to God. There's no limit to how bad times were used to be in that time. Like, most of y'all will be scared to death if y'all lived in these times. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is they are trying to unfreeze Antarctica. They call it like a heat wave kind of that's going through Antarctica, but we all know that they control the weather. Matter of fact, they actually found grid systems for controlling weather in Egypt. So if they had this type of technology in Egypt, and that was a heck of a long time ago, you can only imagine how much they must have taken that. They must have taken that technology that they found, because you know the ancient Egyptians messed around with the fallen angels a lot. That's where they got their knowledge from. They weren't just born super smart. They were even mating with them. Guys, like, they took these grid systems and they perfected them. They're controlling the weather. That's why there are barriers of clouds pushing wind and heat towards Antarctica. There's a reason for all of that. They're trying to melt Antarctica. They're trying to melt the polar ice caps because they want to unveil what God was not necessarily hiding, but just protecting us from. Okay? Because it must have been so bad. It must have been so bad that God had to freeze it instantly. Every single living creature on Antarctica that was alive, that was thriving, was frozen in time. Now, I think that they're slowly trying to defrost Antarctica. Well, I don't think, I know. They're slowly defrosting Antarctica, which I don't know if you've ever heard of this medical thing that, you know, if somebody died, they don't necessarily die when they fall into ice water, like frozen water. Like, you can slowly unthaw a person and they will come back. They'll come back. I don't know how to say come back, but like, it's happened before where people have fallen and frozen in ice water and they froze to death, and they slowly unthaw them until their body gets to a regular temperature, which is 98.6. Once it gets to around that temperature, then they start pumping and they start getting the blood flowing. They start you know, but they do it very slowly, I think the most that a person has lost when that usually happens, you usually lose your toes or some of your fingers, but in general, like, you'll still be working and functioning after that. You can actually look this up. There's been multiple cases of people frozen to death, like stone cold frozen for days. They found them, they unthawed them, and they were alive, they're fine. So it's definitely possible that they're trying to defrost Antarctica and take these creatures and bring them back. And they will be able to do that because, like I told you, God froze Antarctica instantly. So that means that their heart, their lungs, all that would have been preserved for thousands of years. They would, as long as they have just been in ice, basically, or frozen period in ice, they will be able to be unthawed and probably brought back. I can almost guarantee you. That's what they're trying to do. As well as unleash those fallen angels. So, yeah. I just want to talk about that. I can talk more about it, but this was on my heart, and I just really want to talk about it. Yeah, you guys, God bless.